Well, now we made it to the end, so I just wanted to spend a few minutes just wrapping up our entire course, kind of walking through what we learned throughout this entire term. It was a lot, wasn't it? There was, as I promised you at the beginning, it's really more than you can possibly digest in a single term course, which is why I like to make this all available to you for more than a course, and you can go back and pick and choose what you want to dive a little bit deeper into and maybe take some of the readings for later or whatever you want to do. But there's just so much to touch on in a capstone course in modeling and simulation, and everybody has their own focus that they want to look at that gives them sort of their own unique experience. But let's just walk through our topics real quick. We started off talking about M&S in context as an academic discipline, asking the question if it even was an academic discipline. I have my opinions, and maybe you have yours too now, but thinking about what actually, okay, even if you don't want to argue about whether it's an academic discipline, but what is it really, and what isn't it, are really good questions. And we think that because we've been doing it for such a long time, that that's it might be a silly question. I don't think it's a silly question at all. I particularly think it's not a silly question because nobody really has a good answer for it. Even though we have a body of knowledge now that you've looked at, which really hasn't even been touched or updated in how many years now? Is that even still valid? Isn't that something we should be keeping up on? These are good questions. We then learned that M&S is heavily, but not entirely, IT related. So we spent quite a bit of time talking about economic rules for IT and talking about how they're different, very counterintuitive in some cases. But we learned about those things because this is the world we have to live in. We got to buy things from vendors who they don't know M&S. They're just selling us computing equipment or displays or software, and we got to know how to do business with these people and be good buyers. And then we asked the question, if we have so little control over this, how do you manage this sort of stuff? And we talked about innovation and adoption curves and how to deal with change and how to do strategic planning, how to do scenario planning. These are all things that I think you can maybe apply, even if you take just little elements of them and put them into practice in your job. That would be a really great thing to see that we taught you something that you can use. We talked a little bit about business processes, different business models. We talked about managing technology. We talked about what I call the tools of the trade, which was all the way from acquisition and the JSITS process, all the way through all these other topics that we dealt with, open source, doing cost estimation, system architecture, are all things that you've now learned something about. And then what you did was you did your talks on technology, different technologies that interested this particular class. So we shared those. This will be a place where you can come and see what other people, in the same way that you got to see what other people who took this class ahead of you had done. Other people who take the class in future years will be able to look at what you did, and you can always peek back in and look at what other people are doing behind you as well. That's something we like to do if we can. And then we spent a few minutes talking about, what do you do from here? Okay, great. This is like drinking from a fire hose. Went through all these topics, and we get to the end, and it's like, now what do I do? Okay, did this really do me any good? And what am I going to be able to extract from this that I'm going to apply to my real job? And frankly, that's something I'm asking you, not telling you, because I want to hear, maybe in the years to come, what sorts of things you were able to extract, not just from this course, but from our whole program, that you were able to apply to your job. Because that's really a big part of what we're doing. And this is, again, this is education, not training. Nobody's trying to train you to be an M&S professional. All we can do is educate you about how to think, how to take on some of these big, complex problems that M&S professionals have to inherently deal with, and not shy away from them, but meet them head on and do a good job with them. Take them to a place that maybe nobody else took them before. Then we know that that's how we operate as a community. Then we're learning from you, and other people are benefiting from your educational experiences and your experiences in practice. So I want to thank all of you for your excellent participation in our course, all of the things that we did online, all of the forum postings, all of the participation in the technology briefings. It's all been really great. I hope everybody's got something out of this course that they think they can use, and I want to wish everybody the best of luck in whatever you do next.